village of Forest View is a small suburb near the southwest boundary of Chicago. Its 1 square mile area celebrates the virtues, character, and friendliness of a small town, yet is able to provide the advantages of a big city location. Forest View was founded and incorporated in memory of those who participated in the country's world wars. It was the only known village in the United States governed exclusively by ex-servicemen. Welcome to the village of Forest View. Hello, I'm Madeline Miller. I'd like to thank you for joining me today for another edition of Welcome To, the monthly show that highlights one of Cablevision's 31 franchise communities. Today, our tour begins on the southwest side near Chicago, in the village of Forest View. Forest View is ideally situated along the Stevenson Expressway, allowing easy travel to downtown Chicago as well as the suburbs. A wide range of skilled labor, technical expertise, and management resources are particular to the region. The relatively low tax rate and economic stability provide an excellent climate for business and industrial growth. The friendly residential area boasts a comfortable small-town atmosphere. Welcome to the village of Forest View. The name Forest View was chosen for this little village because of the panoramic view of beautiful flowering bushes and prairie flowers in the forest preserve just west of the newly incorporated territory.
It all started back in about 1929. The veterans from World War I moved into Forest View, just a handful, and they wanted a community for their families. And the thing that they liked was that there was so much open land at that time compared to now. And so they got the name from across Harlem Avenue, which was the Forest Preserve, and they viewed the forest, and that's how they became the village of Forest View.
Shortly after being founded in 1924, the village was nicknamed Caponeville when the infamous gangster Al Capone and his brother reportedly moved into town with their entourage of gunmen, booze runners, and disreputable women. Once Capone was gone, the community faced the Depression. It only began recovering when developer Walter Baltus began building affordable homes in the area during World War II and continuing through the 1950s.
A man by the name of Walter Baltus started building all these homes. And we became a family-oriented town from 53 to 55. Most of the people came in with children, and it was a really wonderful community to start out with your family. And we were all same type of blue-collar workers, almost the same type of homes. When we first moved here, you had to remember where you lived because all the homes looked alike.
At one time, we were called the Cinderella Village because of the many industries we had here. Commonwealth Edison was one of our largest taxpayers.
Taxes from the industrial companies that began moving in during that time gave the village its new nickname, the Cinderella Village. In 1949, Commonwealth Edison Company began constructing their generating plant on Ridgeland Avenue. The greatest portion of the plant was located in Forest View. And because of the property taxes it paid, Commonwealth Edison was often called Forest View's godfather.
Commonwealth Edison located a generating station approximately 45th Street and Ridgeland Avenue, which was a major economic development for the community. Since then, of course, Commonwealth Edison has closed down his shop basically about 1983 is when they discontinued their generating station. And of course, in 90, 91, most of us know that the plant was demolished. As a result, the other taxpayers on the tax roll had to assume a larger role in the development of the tax base. As such, that was a major changing point for economic development in Forest View.
Once a major contributor to the village's revenues, Commonwealth Edison shut down its local plant in 1983. That closing cost the village an estimated $200,000 a year. Even with this cut back, the village spends $1,700 per resident while maintaining a tax rate lower than Chicago's.
we are very grateful to be a small town because there's a lot of privileges here. The police force is very good as far as helping us out, garbage collection, everything that we get, we're very grateful for. And to begin with, our taxes are minimum.
Industries like Amoco Oil, City International, Preston Trucking, Lafarge Corporation, and Lake River Terminal contribute to the strong industrial base that exists in Forest View.
Some of the businesses that are currently active in the village that provide a good tax base for the community is Amoco Oil. One of those is Amoco Oil. Amoco is located at 4800 South Harlem, and basically it's a distribution terminal for most of their gas station facilities. Just a little further to the south is Lake River Terminals, which is a bulk distribution center for fluids and chemicals of various sorts. Other areas are the trucking terminal area, which is basically 47th and Central. They provide commerce for various industrial facilities throughout the area, not just in Forest View. A current development is Niagara Recycling Manufactories. As you know, are located at 6400 West 41st Street. Their principal product will be recycling the waste stream. The facility is not operational. It has been constructed. It's in the process of reaching the operational stage. All permits and necessary documents for its operation are in place. However, a dispute with some legal disputes are delaying the actual opening of the facility. One of the major economic changes, in addition to Commonwealth Edison shutting down their plant, was the bankruptcy of our second largest oil terminal. During this process, the village lost approximately $105,000 in sales tax in 1 year's time. The village is working with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District to bring in new users of the property. We've done some promoting through the West Central Municipal Conference and the Illinois Municipal League in efforts to get a new tenant in that property to restore our tax base. As far as the future goes, the village is largely land-bound. There's not a lot of space for new development. Any development would have to take place through existing structures, maybe revamping existing industry and so forth. There's not a lot of room for us to expand industrially. Consequently, what we have to preserve, and we have to be good economic hosts for our existing firms that are in the community. Of course, this also means that there need to be done improvements in those areas as far as structures and so forth. Maybe some of the areas where the village would like to look for us is to help these businesses sustain their viability in the community, possibly through some type of incentive programs and so forth in order to cement our bond with them and ensure that they stay in the community.
The rows of oil storage tanks and other signs of industry that give Forest View its wealth are evident. With this strong tax base, the village is able to support full-time police and fire departments, a communications center, emergency services, and a top-notch public works department. Although the industrial sector has a large economic bearing on the residential area, the two usually remain independent of each other, except when it comes to police protection. Fortunately, the Forest View Police Department is well equipped to handle any problems that may occur within the village.
Geographically, our town being broken up by the canal and the expressway causes problems for response times, number one. And number two is that there's a lot of things that happen in Forest View, an industrial area, in terms of crime. Let's say the industrial area will suffer thefts, both internal and crimes of opportunity kind of thefts. Motor freight terminal in that area where people will break into either the dock or the truck and steal commit that theft by stealing the freight. Whereas in the residential area, that type of crime doesn't really occur too often. We suffer very few thefts from homes, garages. Last year we didn't suffer any residential burglary, and over the last 2 or 3 years we probably suffered a total of 2 or 3, of which fortunately we've made arrests and convictions on all those.
Though small in numbers, the Forest View Police Department is big in innovative programs designed to assist and educate their residents. Programs like Cops and Kids, Senior Safety, and Home Alone are just a few of the many ways that police try to interact with the community.
The reason I usually come up with this is because we can. And because we have guys, and hopefully, through that do as I do kind of a thing, I've always wanted to touch the kids and touch the residents and interact and respond. And if they know you, they'll tell you, they'll talk to you, they'll respect you, and they'll get to know you as a person and a policeman. So in that respect, that if you don't do it, especially with the kids, then you may lose them. There's a lot. I don't think we're going to change the world in our little world here with it, but I think if we have any one child or two children that may come up to you and say they know how to call you by your first name, and off to the side they can talk with you, maybe there's some chance there. And I think if the kids get a chance to interact with the policeman, they break that authority figure down a little bit to where this guy's a person too. And then when they do leave the grade school environment, go off into high school, are exposed to a whole different element, and they still have to come back to Forest View. And they still have to deal with real life problems and stuff. So hopefully they'll be able to maybe remember some of that or draw from some of the experiences that we have together.
Community interaction is just one of the ways that policing has changed over the years. This has brought forth a new breed of police officer that is more educated and sensitive to their ever-changing environment.
20 years ago, you would probably have you got some education, you got some of the police academy, and you came in, you did a little field training with the department, you gave your ticket books and said, go to it, buddy, and you're out there. And you learned from that experience. In today's day and age, it's cultural diversity is key. The laws, as they apply to civil rights, as they apply to our own statutes, constantly change. And the police officer is constantly under the microscope. His actions are scrutinized more so now than, they've always been scrutinized, but I think more so now than ever before, and will probably continue to be that way. So in that respect, I think policing has changed. I think you've got with youth crime and with domestic situations, a police officer has to become, although we don't want to be, they have to become that counselor. So that So I think all those things put together really changed the police role over the last 15 to 20 years, and no matter how high tech we get, you still can't break down to the grassroots emotional stuff, and that's where it'll be. We'll continue to keep in training to tell our police officers and train them to react and respond to those different needs.
The geographics of Forest View can pose many problems for police and fire response times, but the Forest View Fire Department is on call, ready to combat any problems that may arise within this diverse community.
Our department operates with 17 paid-on-call firefighters, 6 full-time firefighters, including myself. Full-time firefighters work 24, 48 hours. 24 on or off 48. Paid-on-call come in on an as-needed basis. We run with 2 fire engines, 2 ambulances, BLS ambulances, which is basic life support, and 1 rescue squad for the interstate and industrial accidents. Basically, for our residential section, currently we have the Village of Stickney and the Village of Summit that respond to our department if we need it with an extra engine with manpower. For the rest of our area, the industrial area, anything that is large with hazmat, confined space, anything where we're getting to our maximum manpower, where we're going to need extra help. We call on Mavis Division 10. Mavis Division 10 is our mutual aid association, which currently has 21 neighboring fire departments that we can call on at any time of the night or day for the extra assistance. And it's unbelievable the amount of equipment and engines, manpower, ambulances, specialized equipment that we can get.
The industrial sites can cause many problems that ordinary firefighting techniques can't control. Therefore, specialty training for firefighters is necessary to provide the residents of Forest View with the best possible protection available.
Special training our fire department goes through is a lot of hazardous materials training due to Lake River Terminal Standard Oil, some of the big bulk terminals in town. Special rescue training with Interstate I-55. We get a lot of pretty serious crashes on I-55, and also the confined space rescue due to the fact that we've got the canal barges, that people are working inside the barges, inside tanks and stuff. We are real heavy into the confined space rescue.
The key to any fire prevention is public awareness. The Forest View Fire Department does their part by providing a number of programs designed to educate the public.
Public education-wise, we're very strong on going to, out to the neighborhood and letting them know, change your clock, change your battery every year. We stock and sell smoke detectors for our residents. This year we initiated a program of, rather than them just coming to the firehouse and purchasing the smoke detector, they call us up, they purchase it, and we'll install it for them and check it and make sure it works. We do a lot with industry CPR training. It's available to all the residents. CPR, first aid training, hazardous materials training, home fire prevention, home safety inspections. It goes on, and we're really trying to get the community involved in our fire prevention aspect.
Education and innovation is why Forest View is one of the safest communities in the area. Just south of 46th Street, across from the Village Hall, is a beautiful playground and park. Located on a block and a half of land set aside by former village president Frank Lesnicki, who had the foresight to know that the children of Forest View needed a place to play.
As we first moved in this town, we just had a big empty lot across the street. And once we started developing the park, then, yes, the activity started. We brought in the swings and the playgrounds and the tennis area. So then this was an attraction for the people to do this.
The Park District was organized in 1964 because the village at that time felt it could not pay for any of the modern conveniences and the equipment and all the stuff that went along with it. They were very broke at that time, so the Park District was formed to get a little extra money.
The mission of the Forest View Park District is to provide affordable programs for senior citizens, children, and adults, and to provide the best maintained facility. And our vision is that the park be a beautiful, fun, and safe environment for people of all ages in our area. We are a small park. We employ all part-time workers. We have 4 departments. We have a clerical department, which is our treasurer and our secretary. We have a security department, which maintains the safety in the park and makes sure that everyone that comes here obeys our rules. Our 3rd department is maintenance, and they are the groundskeepers. They help to maintain our equipment and care for the flowers and the trees and the park facility. And our last department is our recreational department. For our recreation department, we have a summer program of kiddie camp and young children camp and junior high camp. We also run a number of trips for our citizens.
The park is equipped with various recreational attractions, including tennis courts that can be flooded in winter for ice skating.
This is one of the main reasons many people enjoy living in the town of Forest View. Perhaps the best reason they enjoy this community is that it is a small community and everyone knows each other, everyone is good neighbors, and it makes a home-like environment.
has become a modern town with all the conveniences of a big city, yet retaining all the beauty and friendliness of a small town. Recently, Cablevision's public affairs manager, Susan Bisnow, paid a visit to Village President Richard Grenvich. She found out what makes Forest View so extraordinary.
Thank you very much, President Grenvich, for agreeing to talk to us today. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm just fine. Thank you for coming.
Good. What makes Forest View such a special community?
It's probably a special community in the sense that it's very small. I think probably the best way to describe it is it's small town living in the middle of a major metropolitan area. We only have approximately 750 to 800 people. The residential area is only 2 blocks by 4 city blocks. So we've got a very small area. We have a cemetery on one side of the residential area, we have industrial on the other, we have Stickney on another side, and we have a forest preserve on the west side. So you've got a small area that's self-contained and yet has various amenities, i.e. the forest preserves.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice, isn't it, for families to go out and enjoy?
It is, plus, of course, we also have a park within the community as well. The Park District does a nice job of keeping that up. Sometimes, I think, too well. We have a lot of people coming from other communities to enjoy the park.
Tell me about the industrial base around here.
Well, that's another good part about Forest View. The industrial area is away from the residential area. We are much larger than what many people think. Most people probably think of Forest View as being the 2 blocks by 4 blocks. Actually, we go from a little bit west of Harlem Avenue all the way to Laramie Avenue on the east end. On the east end, we have a number of trucking terminals, and we also have a number of oil terminals south of the residential area behind train tracks, so it's actually away from the residential area.
So you have a little bit of everything here.
We have a little bit of everything, and luckily for the residents, most of it's away from the residential area, so you're not burdened with the normal industrial complex that you might in most communities.
Now, you've been mayor for 5 years, and you've lived in the community for 10, which to some might seem like a long time, but to others you may seem like the new kid on the block.
New kid on the block is a polite way of putting what I was called by some people when I first ran in 1989. You're right, I am the new kid on the block. If you looked at the residents in the area, you probably would find that a good 30 to 50% have lived here, probably pushing 40 years.
So what do you think have been the major changes since you've been mayor?
Oh, I think it's just the way we do business. I hope that in the past 5 years we've opened the government up. I think we've done that through newsletters that we distribute, through town meetings that we started, so that we go before the people and tell them these are the problems, or this is what we'd like to do and why we're doing it. I think since we started the town meetings, a lot of the bickering, a lot of the rumors and things like that have stopped in the area. I think we've also changed the way we do business with our police and fire. I'm asking both of them to do more than I think that they were asked to do before, and I think that's better. One of the things a lot of us have been talking about is more bang for the buck. We only have so much money to spend, as all communities do. And what we're trying to do is get more out of the money that we're spending. Hopefully we're accomplishing that.
If you could look into a crystal ball, what do you see in store for the community in the next 10 years?
Well, probably the single biggest goal we have deals with economics. All communities have to get money to pay for their expenses. Over the last year, we've suffered some tremendous setbacks as far as economics. What we've been working on and what we will be accomplishing very shortly, I hope, is some annexation of some unincorporated areas south of the village. That'll increase our tax base. It'll also increase our tax base to the extent that perhaps some sales tax revenues will be generated. We've been talking with various businesses down there, and basically the response has been pretty favorable. Forest View has to project itself as a community willing to work with the businesses when it can, and giving a fair deal to areas wishing to annex into the area. So if there was one single thing I think we must do to continue to operate as a community is seek to increase the tax base, and doing so in part by annexing various areas around the village.
Explain for me the relationship that exists between the people who grew up here, whose parents were from here, and those newcomers who are here because of its proximity to the highway and to the city, and as an affordable and nice place to raise a family.
I have no doubts that some of the people who've lived here for 40 years look on some of the newcomers as what are they doing here. But I think all in all, I think most of the people who've been here 40 years are really pretty receptive all in all to the people moving in. While you may have some saying we don't want anybody new, even if they moved in from Stickney, I think most of the people realize that to have a thriving community, you've got to have the newcomers, the younger people moving in with the kids. If you don't, your community is going to die off. And I think if anything's happened over the last 6 years, and I'm most certainly not responsible for this, is you've seen either some of the older people leaving us, whether they've moved away or they've passed on, and you've seen them being replaced by younger people with children moving in, and I think that's vital for any community.
So you have a growth situation here.
We do in the sense that we have limited areas for homes. There virtually are no lots to build up on the residential area here. But we do have a good situation with the younger people moving in. And really, you can see it over about the last 6 years or something like that.
Well, I thank you very much for your time, and we all look forward to continuing to serve the community and to watch it prosper.
Okay, you're welcome.
We'd like to thank President Grenvich for taking the time to talk with us today. Now let's take a look at some important village phone numbers.
Recommend it because of its proximity to everything. It's very close to downtown Chicago. Local shopping is unsurpassed as far as I'm concerned. I mean, everything's either 5 or 10 minutes away with your car or public transportation. Interstate I-55 Midway Airport makes it convenient. All the departments work so good together in town. It's a nice little town to live in. You got a beautiful park in town. Proximity to the schools is very close. I like it. It's really nice.
Forest View, the people, is that atmosphere. I know I have 2 children, and you feel safe letting them walk around Forest View because everybody knows who it is and what they're doing and if they should even be in the village.
Safety. That's the thing. Street paw patrol. They're lit up, and we have good neighbors. And neighbors look out for neighbors in Forest View. I know when I'm gone vacation, my neighbors check. They look out. My neighbors are gone, I check. We help each other. We check the mail, make sure there's nothing, no papers around. And this is one of the things that help. That the people watch out for the people in the town. The town is well patrolled by the police department. It's like I say, it's lit up. And that's what counts.
That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching Welcome To, and please join us next month as we pay a visit to another one of Cablevision's family of communities. Good night.